good at it, but we're not. Okay, so this all starts with my dog. As all good research starts with a dog, doesn't it? Because I'm a boomer, and I have an office full of millennials, right? And I love them. I need them, they need me. But shit, can we communicate on equal terms? No, no. And just try to work out why. So I use this as a little metaphor. So you know that a dog travels times 7, huh? You know, and God has done a little trick on us. How does that work? Well, of course, because if the dogs traveled at the speed, we would all be like this. All these dogs would be flying through the streets, and we couldn't deal with that. So I project the dog's head onto the millennials because I do that because it tells me, yeah, they might look the same. They have a T-shirt, they have trousers, they have trainers. They look the same as me, but they're not the same as me. Like my dog, they're not the same as me. And like my dog, they believe that they're traveling much quicker than these sad old men like me, because they have this dexterity at the end of the fingers that I simply don't have. Now, what I decided to do is my presentation can go on for hours, and I've got another 5 minutes to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop, because and it doesn't matter, because the moral of the story, it's available later within this report. And the subject matter is, look, this is really important and this is really interesting stuff. And it all kicks off with the boom of consumerization of technology. And the lack of prediction. Remember when Apple launched the iPad, they launched it with their video of the millennials on the beanbags playing with digital media at home. They did not launch it with old blokes like me using it in the workplace. But that's happened, and it's happened really, really quickly. A new chart, the demise of fixed technology against mobile technology, and it's shocking. Absolutely, the rapid rise of it is phenomenal. I'm not going to talk about cloud and virtualization, but you put that into the mix, and it's starting to accelerate, and this is when it gets really interesting. Not only have you got this new technology, but you have a generation of foot soldiers who are absolutely in love with this technology. So if you think, you know, like in the computer games and like in the movie, you can shoot one down, another one will come up. And this is powerful stuff, because not only is this technology interesting, but you've got legion upon legion upon legion who believe absolutely that this technology will reign supreme. I'm going to skip this, but you guys are much better placed than we are, because this rapid change, if we think it's fast in Europe, then it's nothing in comparison to what's happening in China. That's less of a problem for you guys, but trust me, in Europe, it's a real issue, big concern. Okay. When I grew up, I would just go out and spend the day killing frogs, falling out of trees, doing what I would do. This is a generation who mum and dad have spent their whole life hovering over the kid, taking them to the football, taking them to jeans to watch the video game, taking them to the party. That has got profound effects, because these guys are arriving in the workplace always having been overseen by mum and dad. And if you have helicopters, you have Black Hawk helicopters. And Black Hawk helicopter, the phenomena of mum and dad arriving on the campus and demanding to know what's happening during the term of their kid. You take that into the office as well. And in the report, we talk about how corporations are having to deal not with the employee, but with the family. Huh? And even the phenomena of the first annual review. Can my dad come? I kid you not. And the good companies like Goldman Sachs, FedEx, are embracing it and having family days, because they know they're not hiring that person, they're hiring that person's network, because that person's network has profound influence on them. I'll touch on 2 things and then finish. In the report, we talk about this always-on world that we're all interconnected. It's not all good news, you know. This is a wonderful book called Alone Together, which charts a year through the millennial generation. And they're terrified by this technology as well, huh? always on, because, and there's a wonderful quote from this book. This is a researcher spending time with students, interviewing, just talking to them about their world. And in the middle of the conversation, this millennial starts blogging the conversation, and Sherry gets upset, and she said, well, I just want 20 minutes of your time. The kid was blogging the conversation, huh? And the moral of that story is that one-to-one conversation was of little relevance, huh? It was only of relevance if it was broadcast to their network. You take that into the workplace, and privacy and protocol goes out the window. IT security, the same. There's a wonderful hackers conference in Las Vegas every summer where hackers get together and they talk about what's new and what's good in hacking. And they did an experiment in last year's conference where they got intimate. 5 hackers got intimate with the attendees to the conference, and then on the Sunday night they did a presentation in which they demonstrated they could have done considerable damage to the IT of 5 of those corporations. And the reason they did it, because they got a little bit of knowledge from you, a little bit of knowledge from you, a little bit of knowledge from you, a little bit of knowledge from you. The security is changing, and if you're a corporation and you think you can deal with it in a big way, you're in dreamland. And just to tap it all, at the end of the conference, a 10-year-old girl gets up and gives a presentation. And this is not an Einstein, this is just a normal 10-year-old girl who gives a little demonstration about how with her computer game she got bored with it taking too long. The crop, there was a crop that had to grow as part of this game, and it's taking too long, so she hacked the game and changed the clock. That's a 10-year-old kid. That's technology in the hands of 10-year-old kids. 2 slides. Cream, 1967. Coolness at the zenith of coolness, huh? Not only was the music stunning, but they looked gorgeous. They looked stunning. So where could kids go after that? The best thing they can do is drop the pants, huh? That's all they had left. And so there's a lovely love fest going on between those 2 generations. Generally, the boomers are the parents of the millennials. The millennials see that actually mum and dad started all of this thing off. And we've all seen the phenomenon of the kids going into our record collections and going, Led Zeppelin, Dad, Led Zeppelin, they're really good, aren't they? Yeah? Okay, so the last slide is this. This is the real conundrum for all of us, because offices are like supertankers, huh? And we can see this world changing all around us really, really quickly. And this is what our clients are saying to us, but because of the legacy of building stock and the legacy of technology, how are we going to change? Because we can't, like a supertanker, we simply can't reposition ourselves. And maybe the best solution is, as with the supertankers, set off little tenders of experimentation. Goldman Sachs are just starting it in London, a floor for millennials where they can bring their own computers, they can redefine their own technology. They can define their way of working, because my suggestion to you is, and you'll see this through all of the presentations today, our world is changing, you know. You know, the Bob Dylan song, times they are a-changing. It's never been more relevant than it is now. But what I would suggest to you is that if we reap the potential of this, rather than ignore it, to try to kid on, as with Putin, that we can deal with it with last year's logic, we are profoundly mistaken. Because we will all only prosper if we redefine the relationship between 2 fundamentally different mindsets. And it's not that one mindset is correct and the other one is wrong. It's not. It's different. And we have to deal with it. Thank you.